Right, well, so after this interview with Leigh, we got talking about the artwork in the shop, and Leigh wanted to know a little bit about what's going on in the shop, you know, how he kind of knows the story, but doesn't know the story. You've been around, you've seen me talk about mad ideas, but you don't know all of it.
Well, I've seen the shop kind of change over the years a little bit, but there's a lot in here now that I'm looking at thinking, well, what's that? Where's that come from?
To be fair, you don't actually come in much.
No, see, because I've now bypassed the barber experience by having a proper haircut.
Yeah.
What I do myself.
Nothing. Okay, so the first thing we have, let's see, where shall we go? First of all, let's go up here. Now these are helmet hooks, right, which are made out of, I think, yes, 1.25" spanners. Some that were folded at a local company that make injector seats, unofficially. We'll move on from that. And over here, now this
very
is
impressive. This,
yes, shot from us.
What's going on here?
In here.
What's going on here?
So this was done. This was carved. We've got another video about this. This was carved by a chainsaw, and then finished by hand. And this was done by Dan from arborbarber.com. And we've made another video.
Yeah, I'll have to see that.
So yes, that was our most popular video so far. So as we come down here, we have this reception desk, which is not, we'll say art, but the link to this was made by father and son, Alexander and John Oils, and Alexander is also a jeweller, and we're going to be featuring his car and some of his work. Now here, we have up here, you're thinking, why have we got a baseball bat? But the till, because it's art. And this was done by Neil at Skid Lids Customs. If you notice, Leigh, we've got scissors there.
Nice.
Razor blade and scissors there. General flames.
The end.
You can never,
Pretty good.
It's just art. I think more than that.
Yeah, but it's great, isn't it?
Various statues of skulls and a tiki head in the corner over there that were given to me by customers over the years. Now if we notice here, I can't skateboard, but we have an array of deaf skateboards up here.
Pretty scary.
Pretty scary. I always think this one's a little bit Sex Pistol-y, punk rock, Tartan, Vivian Westwood.
The Westwood thing going on, yeah.
Yeah, you know, these I think, I suppose my sort of son-in-law, my girlfriend's son-in-law owns Deaf Skateboards. Nick, lovely guy, check him out if you want a skateboard. And they're part of a sort of like collector sort of type, and that's your everyday, should you need an everyday skateboard, Leigh, that's your go-to.
I shall bear that in mind when I'm looking for my everyday skateboard. Can't find it, I'll get a new one.
There you go.
That's
you
great.
know, good for the environment, I would say, as well. Interesting story behind this, Leigh.
Okay, what this petrol tank?
It's a petrol tank. You see an array of petrol tanks following my love of the Harley Davidson motorcycle, choppers, etc. Now this tank came from a garage in Spain, owned by my good friend Martin. We'll also be featuring some of his crazy, wacky vehicles and cool vehicles, motorbikes, etc. This actually had a snake living in it, and we had to get his son to take the snake out of it because we were too scared because we're big hard bikers. That was painted by Bubs from Ivor, and I just really love that paint job. The purple flames over the orange, and of course the horse is there. That is the standard horse.
Harry.
Standard Harry the horse. That is how it came originally.
I will say, of course, as a poxy guitarist, I wouldn't have took a snake out of a petrol tank.
You would have left it in there a bit more rock and roll.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've got to live with the fears sometimes.
Absolutely.
Now here, you must see the nod to the Pistols here, Leigh.
Oh yes. Very much
Yeah,
so.
and that is where Dave, who doesn't like to be mentioned because he doesn't want any more work because I come up with crazy ideas, and I kind of met Dave through you.
Yeah, of course.
At the t-shirt shop. So yeah, there's a link there, and Dave's done a lot of our artwork. So you see how the Horsepower family all links in on you, Leigh, from the t-shirt shop through Dave, and it all sort of links in. This petrol tank itself was given to us by David Leigh, who fought in the UFC, cage fight, owns a CrossFit gym in Watford, and that was given to me as a present. Of course, I had that painted. I cut it in half because the other half was all smashed in, and that actually came out of a pond, that petrol tank. So there we go.
Wow.
The obvious Sweeney Todd picture for every barber should have. Johnny Depp. Don't mention Amber. And then across here, this was made rather large.
It is sizable.
Sizable, yes.
Sizable, yeah.
And that's a stainless steel blade. And this wood, if anyone knows their wood, is made out of Purple Heart.
Oh.
And that was made by Keith Baker, custom painter. And that was made as a gift for me. And Dan from Arbor Barber is actually going to engrave in here for us, horsepower. So watch that space.
Nice.
Here we have this is I believe it's called a bokken. I probably said that wrong. This is a training samurai sword. We've done a photo shoot with geisha girls, was the theme, and we couldn't have a live blade. Don't know if you have that on stage, not allowed live blades.
Yeah, I'd probably discourage it.
Yes, we don't like that. But anyway, it was for the, for the look, and this lettering was done by Robin Horton, pinstriper. You'll see more of her work later. And that's from a photo shoot. Up here, let's put that back. Up here is again another half petrol tank. Now, if you know this symbol, you know. I'm not going to tell anyone what it is. If you know, you know. I have one of these tanks, as you can see, and something that helped me 5 years ago, nearly 5 years ago. He has the other half up on his garage wall. Another good friend of mine who helped me out in times of difficulty. Now, coming round here, my favourite piece, Harley Davidson engine. This has no internals in it. This came from out of a flood in Florida. So probably never run again, but we've taken all the internals out. I hope we don't want to make it run again because I've sold them. Yeah, don't take the internals out of your engine, kids, if you want them to run again. But it was water damaged, and we have just made it into a decorative piece. These spanners were made by Springham Engineering as stands, a nice little detail, and the engine was put together and finished by them. They only work on Triumphs now, kids, so no Harley stuff for you. More skateboards. I have a lot of skateboards. I mean, I feel like I should have a guitar in here, because I don't skateboard either.
Well, you never know what might happen.
Never know what might happen. Okay, so these were painted by Nikki Kotecha, and I hope I've said your name correctly, Nikki. The Motorhead themed horse there. This was all done by hand, and I always joke with her that when she gets rich and famous, I'm going to sell these. I won't. But these were as good as a gift when she was learning. She's tattooed my armpits, my knees, the backs of my knees, my feet, and some of the stuff on my hands. Right, now this is an interesting one. This petrol tank was a brand new Harley Davidson petrol tank. It was at the time worth about 900 quid. My friend was building a custom motorbike. He brought in a brand new Harley Davidson. They cut it up. Sacrilege, I know, but made a custom Harley Davidson out of it, like really high end, like a 100 grand bike. And I got the original cat tank, and he just cut it in half and gave it to me as a gift.
Wow.
So it's a bit like cutting up a really good guitar.
Yeah, it's a bit distressing.
It is a bit distressing,
concept.
but it's a lovely gift. It was sandblasted, and this again is painted by Robin Horton, Ace Pinstriper. Straight onto bare metal. That's not lacquered or anything. I was kind of hoping it might go a bit more rusty. So there's another story. No snakes, mice,
were harmed
rats, nothing. No animals were harmed in any of this. Just to let you know that the snake that was living in that petrol tank is still living in Spain, as far as I know, running free. It was set free, it wasn't killed or anything like that. Another, there we go. She's marked that one. Did she mark the other one? No, I don't think she did. She signed that one. So yeah, that's the one that's worth the money, kids. So here we have a petrol tank, which I just brought off eBay. I paid about 30 quid for it. And as you can see, we've lent our love of the prodigy, as you can see with my hair, that I follow, you know, a little bit, God rest his soul, Keith. And that was applied by Dave, probably under duress, the ant with the horsepower cut into it. And that is pretty much the story of our artwork, I believe. Oh, no, hold on.
What about the photo?
Walk this way. Walk this way. Now, if you follow us, Lee, you might be able to tell us, because you're a man of knowledge.
Okay.
A nice piece of hickory. Where do you think that came from, that saying?
Oh gosh, I'm put on the spot here, and I'm going to say, rather than give the wrong answer, I don't know, Adam.
I don't
Where
know.
did it come from?
Clint Eastwood film, and my mind's gone blank as well.
Oh.
When it comes out, and it'll come back to us.
Same thing. I've got to stop thinking about it.
Yeah, stop thinking. Yeah. And of course, we have the butterfly here with the horsepower logo on it, and this is really, this was done for Sarah, one of the stylists. We're going to see a lot of her work, but this is kind of, we don't let anyone else have this. This is Sarah's logo for horsepower, and she's, you know, she's put a lot into the business as well. She's been a great support. And then when we come here, this doesn't get a lot of attention. It kind of gets lost here. Maybe we should move it. But this was actually painted by Keith Baker as a gift. Good friend when you need one. He was going through a difficult time, and all I'd done really was give him a few phone calls and stayed in contact. And then the very last but not least, and we do excuse the salons, it's been a busy day, but as you can see, this is one of the girls from the photo shoot, the Geisha Girl photo shoot.
Oh, right.
With the box. So it all kind of ties in.
Oh, great stuff.
There you go.
Oh,
now,
that's good.
before we go, there is a horse upon the horsepower property that's got FTC written on it. Now, it could stand for finely tuned cutting, or it could stand for something else. If someone can tell me where it is and what it stands for, they can have a free horsepower t-shirt in their size, designed from, you know, from our catalogue, whatever, from the lovely guys at Balcony Shirts, where we see Lee occasionally. So yeah, if you can get in contact with us, there's a competition for you. Where is that horse and what does it mean? And no, Leon, you can't enter because you know.
And nor can I, because I know.
And he knows as well, so none of us can enter. Right, thank you very much.
4 days away, 4 days away, 4 days away, hey you!